my channel. I am Maricita Colors in English.
Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Maricita Colors in English. Today we have a new knitting pattern. It's this nice fantasy stitch that I made with the creases and yarn overs, double yarn over. It's very easy to make. Look, it's very nice. I made it similar to my sweater Fernanda that I made in crochet. Look, this stitch is the net stitch. I will let you this pattern up of the screen at the end of this video, into the comments and into the description box. The name is Crocheted Sweater Fernanda. One of my followers in my channel in Spanish asked me how to make this sweater in knitting because she doesn't know to crocheting. So I try to make a nice stitch a little similar in knitting. Look, and I proof and proof, practice, and I have this nice stitch. Sure, it's not the same, but it's a little similar. So now we will learn to make this beautiful fantasy stitch. To make this nice fantasy stitch, I will use odd numbers. 15, 21, 31, 43. This is a odd number. Here I have 27 stitches. I will make my pattern with this yarn of cotton and the needles number 4,50 millimeters. My pattern I will make with 21 stitches, so I must involve 21 times the yarn over the needle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 times. I let some centimeters extra and I let out the yarn of the needle. And from here I will make the 21 stitches. How I make the 21 stitches. I open the yarn with my fingers. I insert the needle into the arc. I bring the needle to the front and from left to the right. I bring the yarn to the needle. Here I have 2 stitches. Open the yarn with my fingers, the needle to the front, and from the left to the right to the needle. Like this I will make the 21 stitches. Stitches, puntos en español. Needles, agujas en español. Yarn, hilo en español. Suéter, blusa en español. Fantasy stitch, punto fantasía en español. 18, 19, 20 and 21 stitches, 21 puntos. We turn the knitting work, and before I make the fantasy stitch, I will make the rib stitch. The rib stitch is one knit and one purl stitch and repeat until the end of the row. This is the first, the knit stitch, yarn into the front, and we will make the purl stitch, punto revés, purl stitch, and knit stitch is punto derecho en español. This is the purl stitch. Yarn to the back, and we will make again the knit stitch. Yarn to the front, and the needle catch the new stitch. So I will repeat and I will make one purl and one knit stitch. In Spanish, rib stitch is punto elástico. I make the knit, the next is the purl stitch. I will make 2 rows with this rib stitch for the base of my fantasy stitch. We turn the knitting work, and from the second row, the first stitch I only pass from the left needle to the right needle. I don't make. This is for that my border is uniform. This is the purl stitch, so I pass only yarn to the back and I will make the knit stitch. And we alternate again the purl and knit stitch. We repeat until that we finish the row. Punto derecho and punto revés en español. Here almost I finish the second row. I find the purl stitch, the yarn into the front, and I make the purl stitch. The yarn to the back for make the knit stitch, and we finish with one purl stitch. This is because we have odd numbers, remember. We turn the knitting work, and for me, when the yarn of the beginning is in the right side, this is the front of the work. Look, it's like knots. And to the back is like lines. But you can use the border that you prefer. Sure. You can use both sides. From here, in the front, I will make the fantasy stitch that is very easy to make. To make this fantasy stitch, I make a border, 2 knit stitch in the beginning and 2 knit stitch at the end. So here, the first stitch only I will pass like the first knit stitch. I don't make. The second, the knit stitch. And here I will make 2 times the yarn over the needle. Lazada en español. 2 times. And here 1 decrease. How is 1 decrease? We must make 1 knit stitch with 2 stitches. Look, we catch 2 stitches and we make the knit stitch. Again, yarn over 2 times, and 1 knit stitch, 1 decrease. Yarn over 2 times and 1 decrease. yarn over 2 times, and 1 decrease. We will repeat until that we finish the row. The knit stitch we will use in the front and in the reverse of our work. Here almost I finished the row with the yarn over, the double yarn over and the decreases, and after this decrease I will make 1 yarn over or a double yarn over, and here I will make the last decrease. So this will be like the border, like 2 knit stitches in the border. We pull a little and ready. We have the first row of my fantasy stitch. We turn the knitting work. Now in this row in the reverse, I will make only knit stitches. The first stitch we pass, we make the second knit stitch, and here I find the first yarn over, the double yarn over, and we will make only 1 knit stitch, and we let free the yarn because I made double yarn over for that the space is big. Here I find the decrease of the previous row, and we make only 1 knit stitch, and again 1 yarn over, and we make 1 knit stitch, and we let free the yarn. So we only will make 1 knit stitch in the yarn over of the previous row and in the decrease 2 of the previous row. I almost finished the row. I find the last yarn over of the previous row. I make 1 knit stitch, and we make the 2 borders or the 2 knit stitches of the border. We pull a little and we turn the work. Now we are in the front of the work, and look the spaces that made the yarn over, the double yarn over. And here we repeat all the steps. The first stitch I will pass, the second I make the knit stitch, and we repeat the double yarn over, the decrease, and all with the knit stitch, the double yarn over, the decrease, and we repeat until that we finish the row. Yarn over is in Spanish lazada. Decrease, disminución. Here almost I finish the row of yarn overs and decreases. We are in the front, and after the decrease always we make the double yarn over and the last decrease. When we make 1 or 2 stitches in one, this is 1 decrease. The last stitch is knit stitches. We turn the knitting work, and we must make all with knit stitches. The 2 knit stitches of the border, we find the yarn over, we make 1 knit stitch, and we let free the double yarn that we made over the needle. Over the decrease of the previous row, we make 2 the knit stitch. So like this we make until that we finish the row. This is the reverse of our work. Reverse, revés en español. Here almost I finish this row and we make the two knit stitches of the border. We pull a little for that the border is uniform. And look the space that we make with the yarn over and the decreases. Here, if in the beginning I have 21 stitches, I must have always the 21 stitches for that my work is uniform. Sometimes you can forget or you can make one extra stitch. For this is good to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 and 21 stitches. And like this you must repeat until that you have the long that you prefer. You can make vests, you can make shawls, scarves and so on. Here I made another pattern with another yarn. This is a little teeny. The needle is the number 5. And look with this yarn and these needles. It's very nice, really. Here I have 21 stitches too. I give you one tip. When you making knitting, you will see the border. Look, here is a little big, a little open. This is because the needle is so big for the yarn. In this pattern, the borders are correct, are uniform, because the yarn is good for this needle number 4,50 millimeters. Here I have 27 stitches. Here I have 21 stitches. And here I have 21 stitches. But with this yarn I must use filage or maybe the needles 4 or 4,5 millimeters for that the border is not so big. Now I will show you in my pattern. Here I have 27 stitches. This is the front, so I must make the yarn overs and the decreases. The first stitch I pass, the second is the knit stitch. Here the double yarn over, one decrease, double yarn over, one decrease, double yarn over, and one decrease. This is all the work that you must repeat in your thread. Into the front we make the yarn overs and the decreases, and in the reverse only we make all the stitches. If here I have 27 stitches in the beginning, I must have 27 stitches in all the rows. Here I will make the last decrease and the last knit stitch. We turn the knitting work and I will make only all the stitches that I find. The two knit stitches of the border. Here I find the yarn over, so I only make one knit stitch and we let free the yarn. One knit stitch over the decrease of the previous row and we repeat all the steps. And again, we are for the front of our work. Look, it's very nice, this fantasy stitch. And we have ready all the steps for make this nice fantasy stitch. It's very easy to make and is similar to my crocheted sweater Fernanda. But I will continue making proof to make more nice fantasy stitches. Before I finish this video, I want to invite you to subscribe here in my channel Maricita Colors in English. It's total free. Remember, activate the bell for that you receive all the posts when I have a new video here on my channel. You can find me too on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you very much to write me, give one like, and share my video. And we see us soon with a new crochet or knitting pattern. Chao, chao. Muchas gracias, amigos. Hasta la vista. Chao, chao.